So this is my parents' 2012 Ford Focus. This was initially my car. I bought this thing 3, maybe 4 years ago, and I got it for like $600 because it had a bad engine. The previous owner was changing the oil, forgot to tighten the oil filter. They drove it like 10 miles and engine went kaput. Pretty much what happened was that the cam that rides the high pressure fuel pump, it snapped right over there just because oil starvation. At that point, because metal shavings and all that type of stuff, and considering that the engine was only $150 at a junkyard for an engine with 80,000 miles, I just wound up swapping out the engine. I've had this car for 3 years. It has been great, but this car is pretty much labeled as one of the worst cars to get. But it's actually not that bad, and honestly, I would buy another one if they're cheap enough. If you know what to look for and some things to keep in mind about these cars, you can actually get a really good car. This car has 155,000 miles. I think we've put 20,000 miles on the engine in the past 3 years that we've had it, and it's been solid. The Achilles heel of this car is the transmission. It is Ford's power shift dual clutch transmission, and what that means, pretty much, you got a manual transmission that shifts automatically. That's the best way to put it. So in this video, let's talk about what you need to look for if you're looking to buy this car or if you have this car, and maybe these tips can help you get a really good deal and keep this car on the road a lot longer. Now, I'm not a Ford guy. Personally, I'd rather have a Toyota Corolla, but for as cheap as you can find these things and how easy it is to do the work, they're not bad. So to get straight to the point, and we'll talk about all the other issues, the main issues with this is the transmission. And it's not that the transmission was bad, is that the TCM on these things are pretty much junk or notorious for going bad. But there is something to consider. If you're looking to buy one of these cars, take a look at the VIN. Ford had a recall in which they replaced the TCM and they did the software update. And once that was done, pretty much the transmissions were good to go. This car, when I got it, I looked it up and the TCM and the software update was done and replaced. And since then, I haven't had any issues with the transmission. Now, the recall was extended to about, I think, 120,000 miles. So if you're outside the recall, it's not ideal. But most of the time, in my experience, the ones I've seen, it's not the TCM that really goes bad. There's a couple of other things that affect the way these transmission runs. So first off, the big one is this ground. This ground right over here is garbage. Pretty much there's paint, and because there's paint on it, it doesn't get a good connection. If you clean up this ground and secure it really well, that can resolve a lot of your TCM issues. Now, the other thing, this transmission pretty much has a clutch. The clutches do go bad on it. And the way that you know that the clutches are going bad and it's not the TCM is if you're driving the car and it's slipping. If it's slipping and you don't have a check engine light, more than likely you need to replace the clutch. The clutch is about $300 to $400. It's very easy to replace. And once you do that, you're good to go. Now, this transmission has 155,000 miles on it. It is slipping a little bit, just like a normal manual transmission would. And once I replace the clutch on it, should be good. Since I've had this car, like I said, the TCM has been replaced. It does have the software update. So if I was to replace the clutch, which I probably will, I won't have any more issues with this car. And that's something that you see with this car, is that people get rid of it because of the transmission issues. Now, if you're having the check engine light for shift 4B, and we'll talk about that in a nutshell, but if you're having circuit code transmission issues with this, then you could need a TCM. Now, if you need a TCM, you need to get one that's rebuilt and reprogrammed for your car. There's a bunch of services that companies that do it aftermarket. It's about $200 to $300, but once you send it out, send the information, you get the new one with the new software update. For even $500, you're good to go. How do you know if the TCM is going bad? It's going to give you a hard fault check engine light. Done. I'll post a list of the codes on the screen in case you're curious on it, but that's how you know if it has a bad TCM. Now, if it's jerking and slipping and you don't have a check engine light, go back to what I'm talking about. Check this ground. That would cause the issue. Or better yet, you need to replace the clutch on it. And I will say changing the transmission out on this, because I've replaced the engine, is really easy. Now, you do need some specialty tools to lock and unlock the tools. I bought them from Amazon, and I just kept them because it would help me to, number one, if I wanted to buy another one cheap and make some money off of it, replace the clutch, or number two, just fix my own issues with this car. So things to keep in mind: the transmission, although the Achilles heel of this car, doesn't mean that this car is complete junk. Now, moving on to the engine is solid. Now, the older Ford Focuses with the same engine, pretty much solid. Good engines. I've never had one go bad. The last one went bad because of, well, lack of oil lubrication. The most common things that you'll run into with this model, the 2012, is the valve covers. They leak. And then when you go to replace them, because they're plastic, they crack, but really easy, simple to do. And another one is you'll get a leak thinking, oh man, the valve cover is leaking again. Nope, high pressure fuel pump is attached to the cam, which is attached to the side of the engine. There's a gasket, which I just did it on this car. Right over here, it's about $10. Replace this, leak is fixed. Now, because it has that direct injection, GDI, I think is what it's called, direct injection, the fuel injectors direct fuel straight into the pistons versus the valve, so you do get the carbon on the valves. But honestly, if you clean it, probably, I did it when I got this engine, maybe 100,000 miles to 80,000 miles, you should never have an issue. Remove the intake, get in there, you can walnut blast it, you can use some chemicals. I just used some chemicals, make sure that the valve was up so you get in the piston, cleaned everything out, good to go. If you're having performance issues and codes like that, more than likely it's the valves are just getting gummed up, so something to consider. Now, moving on to another common issue with this car, mysterious coolant leaks. And I've done 2 videos on this. Number one, and this was the same with the older ones, the coolant reservoir, they crack on the bottom. I don't know what it is, but it's always on the bottom. They crack, they leak. The way it leaks, you'll think, oh man, it's time for a water pump. No. These crack all the time. This is the 3rd one that's been in the car, but honestly, as cheap as this is, I probably change this once a year. Now it's a maintenance item, $20 a year. Not bad. So keep that in mind. The other one, right back over here, these are the heater hoses, and the one on the left and even the one on the right, they have these weird funky connectors that Ford came up with. I have a dedicated video on how to change it. They leak. There's an O-ring in there. Pop out that O-ring, or you could just get a new hose. That's what I did. That came with the special clamp. There's a little special tool to kind of help twist the lock over here. Pop that out, put the hose in, you're good to go. And the reason why that one becomes a mystery leak is because when it leaks all up into this insulation on the firewall. It absorbs it, and you'll never see it. You'll never see it. So that's another coolant leak to keep in mind. Another common one I've never experienced, but people have said they ran into, is over here. You have like a little junction for the radiator hose, heater hose, and everything. I guess that does leak. I replaced it when I swapped out the engine, but I mean, if you see coolant in this area, obviously that's where it is. But these two, this one and that one, that will fool you. Keep an eye out for that, and you should be good. Now, another common issue, which I've seen people get a huge mixed diagnosis for it. It's actually a really easy fix. You gas up your car, you go to turn it on, and it doesn't want to crank. What do? Number one, put your foot to the floor, crank it, and the car will start. You'll be good to go. What it is that this purge valve right over here, I believe it's called the purge valve, I forget what it's called. This valve tends to get stuck. When it gets stuck, it allows, from what I understand, fuel vapors into the intake, so it creates kind of a rich condition, and when it creates that type of condition, the car can't start because it's pretty much fouling itself. But if you hold open while you're cranking, press the pedal down, hold the throttle open, it creates enough air to get out all that fuel gases and vapors and allows you to stop the car. But this does go bad. They're about $30 to $40, or you can get them at a junkyard. That's what I did with this one. I had that issue 2 years ago, got that one from a junkyard, haven't had an issue. So if you're running into that issue, and I have a video on that, instead of calling a tow truck, while you're cranking it, pedal to the floor, that'll probably get your car to start and you're good to go. Make sure you're in park when you do it. Don't do it while you're in drive. Now, outside of those engines and leak issues out there, it's solid. All that I talked about for the engine is really easy to replace. The transmission, I mean, if you're a DIYer and you're good at that type of stuff, changing out the clutch is really simple. The TCM, there are companies that, like I said, they rebuild them and they do the software update for about $200 to $300. So people throw this stuff out because the only option they think is to take it to the dealer. Dealers charge about $3,000 to $4,000 to replace the clutches on the transmission, and that's more than what the car is worth. Same thing with the TCM. They might charge you, I think it's $800 to $1,200 for that. Yeah, definitely not worth it. And typically, when they do the TCM, they also recommend the clutch at that time. I don't know. But my thing is, change out the clutch. Your TCM's bad, send it out. And honestly, $500 for the clutch job if you do it yourself, and then $300, $800, you pretty much rebuilt the transmission and it's bulletproof. The rebuild ones with the software updates, you'll never have an issue with it. Fixing that ground and the clutches, you're good to go. Now, as far as the interior, it's not bad in this car. It's pretty comfortable. I'm not a huge fan of this dash and all that type of stuff. Kind of limit on how easy it is to upgrade the radio. That's just a personal preference on it, but overall, not too bad. Gas mileage is like 36 miles per gallon. It is peppy, and because it has that, I think it's a 6-speed power shift automatic transmission, it definitely moves through the gears really easy. It is roomy, it's comfortable. The ride is not too bad. And it's actually not a bad looking car. If you get the titanium version, you get the sunroof and the better speakers and all that good stuff, reverse cams, and it's pretty luxury. I've seen titanium versions with the transmission issues go for about $1,000. And honestly, I might consider one day, because if I put another $1,000 into the transmission issues, if it is what I think it is, and sometimes it's just as simple as the ground, you got a really good car for $2,000. Like I said, the engine is pretty much bulletproof. One thing I did forget to mention about the engine, you get in, you get a lot of vibrations on idle. This motor mount, right over here, and even on the older Fords, it's full of fluid. They go bad. I've replaced it twice on this car. They go bad, and you get annoying vibrations on that. So is this the worst car to get? If you're not a DIYer, yes. If you're a person that doesn't know anything about cars and you rely on dealerships and mechanics and you're looking for a cheap used car, stay away from this. That's my recommendation. But if you're a DIYer and you're comfortable with tinkering and fixing things and you're good at it and you're even able to, replace a transmission clutch on it, yeah, it's a really good car. Pretty decent bang for the buck, as cheap as you can get them, and it does last. This has 155,000 miles. I do need to change the clutch on it, but this engine probably will last another 100,000 miles easy. So Ford Focus, yes, it was a good idea with the transmission. I think it had potential. I think it was just poorly implemented, but luckily it's actually a pretty easy fix for the DIYers. So I like this car. I'll keep it around, clean it up, and if you're out there and you see one cheap enough, definitely something to consider. So hope this video helps if you're considering looking to buy one, or if you own one and you're just curious on some of the transmission issues and other common issues. Thanks for watching, and let me go fix something else.